webcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, welcome to another CW webinar. I'm Juliana and me and my team are here to bring you an overview of the select African cement market. Next page, please. So for today's presentation, I would like to introduce myself, Juliana Vieira, a business analyst at CW Group, the lead analyst on CW's trade price report, and as well as Wanderson Teixeira, our junior business analyst. He was responsible analyst on the update of the reports that we are going to present today, and we both are based in Portugal. On today's agenda, we will start with an introduction of our company, what it is that we do and what we have to offer, and of course, share the main highlights of the Select African Country Reports update. This webinar will include the macroeconomic analysis, our regional construction market overview, cement market overview, capacity drivers and prospects, trade and pricing dynamics, and the ongoing impact of the COVID-19. Now I would like to give a brief introduction of the company. For those who already know about CW Group, please bear with me. So CW Group is present across three distinct verticals: the advisory, research, and media. Under advisory umbrella, CW works with major global consultancies and leading institutions, including the World Bank and funds, on projects. We also provide consulting and advisory expertise on a diverse product portfolio. And for example, recently we work on a sample of advisory projects that include a complete business process analysis for an online art gallery website, also a detailed visibility study for the Middle Eastern petrochemical company for the manufacture of a specific chemical compound. And just recently, we just ended an advisory engagement for a defense contractor looking to enter into secondary explosive manufacturing. Now, under the research umbrella, CW focus on cement demand globally, as well as detail industry and country reports. That is the case of today's webinar, the country reports. We also provide historical and as well as forecast for markets in a variety of projects, including one of our main products, the volume forecast reports that we call VO4. And we also provide commodity price assessments for cement, clinker, and as well as petcoke and coal. Now, last but not least, under the media umbrella, you can have online access to our vast database. Also can subscribe to newsletter for topics of interest. And we also have some industry-specific meetings, which of course, due to the COVID, are happening online. But as soon as possible, we'll be back to be in person. Next slide, please. So now, next one. So now for this webinar, we are including information from 6 different country reports in Africa that were updated in the past few months. So this includes Algeria, Ethiopia, the DRC, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. The CW Research Country Reports provide a comprehensive review of cement market dynamic, covering cement volume trends in detail, historical cement demand and production, trade flows, and of course the demand drivers. These include macroeconomic and construction sector outlooks. The report also includes company profiles of all the operational cement companies in the country, and as well as the new plants that have been announced in those countries. But of course, we have a wide range of country reports, and for more detail, please feel free to visit our website or contact us. So now to start off, I'm going to present a macroeconomic overview of the select markets with prospects for 2021. Most of the country listed are expected to see an economic recovery in 2021, mostly based on government efforts to regain not only the business confidence, but also to boost major sectors, including, of course, the construction sector. The DRC, for example, is expected to see an increase of 4% in its GDP. It's one of the highest growths in the region, with the adoption of the 2019-2023 Strategic Development Plan, which gives national priorities, including infrastructure growth, a much-needed push. In Uganda, even though GDP is estimated to be one of the highest growths too, with an estimation of 5%, as a result of an increase in construction and in several sectors. There is still an uncertainty linked to the oil production, the 2021 electoral period that happened in February, and the ongoing uncertainty in terms of the economy and politics across the world that will likely impact Uganda's GDP growth for 2021. Kenya also has a positive economic trend, and it's expected to be one of the fastest growing economies in the sub-Saharan Africa, with GDP growth of 5% attributed to a stable macroeconomic environment and a positive investor confidence too. And Ethiopia, however, is expecting to be stable, having a minimal GDP growth this year due to the effects of the ongoing pandemic. Next slide. Now, when we are looking at FDI inflow, Uganda, due to the geographical location and natural resource, has the ability to become a regional hub of trade and investment. In 2019, FDI inflow saw a yearly increase of 20% and was mostly due to the development of major oil fields and an international oil pipeline. Also, projects in construction, manufacturing, and agriculture benefit the scenario in the country. And also, the investors are generally treated equally in Uganda by the law, and that helps attract more foreign investment. Ethiopia, on the other hand, witnessed a decline of 24% year-on-year in FDI inflow, and due to the political instability in some parts of the country that include the regions with industrial parks. In Tanzania, the back of the pandemic, investments are expected to witness a decline in 2021 as a result of a decline in capital flows to emerging markets and a spike in risk aversion. Also, the tourism sector, that is one of the largest recipients of forgiven investments, is being severely hit by the COVID, which is likely to have a negative impact in investment in the country. Next slide. Now in the slide, I would like to present some construction plans. The country's construction sector is going through an upward trend, as many mega infrastructure investments have been made in the past couple of years. Most of the investment projects announced in the countries are related to transportation, road infrastructure, and also hydropower. One of the major infrastructure projects announced in the listed country is the Left project in Ethiopia, with an investment of $25 billion that is expected to be completed by 2030. Now, when we look at Algeria, for example, the highway of the Hato Plateau which will connect the highland areas in the interior, is estimated to cost of $10.2 billion. And this project was launched in 2014 and has suffered several financial constraints and that caused delays in the construction, and currently is set to be completed in 2023. Next slide. Added to this, with the Tanzania Development Vision 2025, Tanzania expects to attract even more foreign direct investment to mega infrastructure projects in the next couple of years. Also, the Tanzania government announced the 2020-2021 budget of $15 billion. In the announcement, the government indicated the infrastructure sector will continue to finance the flagship strategy projects, including the construction of the Standard Gauge Railway and the construction of Julius hydropower project. Now, in Uganda, the biggest project now so far is the Uganda Standard Gauge Railway project, which is expected to be completed in 2025. Uganda is also part of the Standard Gauge Railway that is happening also in Tanzania. And this is a planned railway system linking the country to the neighborhood countries, for example, Kenya, Rwanda, the DRC, South Sudan, and is part of the Western African Rail Master Plan. Now, I would like to pass the presentation to my colleague Wanderson Teixeira. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Juliana. Welcome again, everybody. Now we will be providing some insights on the current market situation. But of course, the reports include a much more detailed analysis on what's happening and what is expected to be happening in the next 5 years. Focus on cement capacity in these countries is estimated that together they amount to almost 100 million tons in 2021, with Algeria and Tanzania accounting for 63% of this total. As my colleague Juliana just mentioned, with the increased demand in those countries boosted by all of the major infrastructure projects announced in the past couple of years, all of these markets are expected to see an increase in capacity in the forecast period. For instance, 2 new cement manufacturers are expected to enter Tanzania's market. Maniara Cement, announced in 2017, plans to build an integrated cement plant. More recently, the company disclosed that they had already acquired limestone and extraction license for the sites. In addition, we also have Hengia Cement in partnership with Sinoma, which announced the construction of a grinding plant, which is mainly focused on exports. In Uganda, for example, now we have a new cement plant, which is expected to enter the market in the next 5 years, which is the Uganda Development Corporation in partnership with the private sector that is adding value to the existing limestone and marble deposits in the licensed area of Kalong district. They're setting up an integrated lime, cement and marble plants, and they also expect that social economic benefits are going to be provided by those projects, believing that this will spur housing and real estate development within the region. Also in Kenya, we expect to see a capacity upgrade from National Cement and Mombasa Cement, and the entrance of a new cement player, which is Nairobi Business Ventures. The construction also of a clinker plant from National Cement is expected, which is going to be built exclusively to export clinker to its neighboring country, Uganda. Now, when we talk about cement production and utilization rates, we can see that the cement sector in Africa suffers from low utilization rates, mostly due to the production costs, which are very high, and also the need of upgrading their cement plants equipment. Added to this, there is also a surplus in production capacity. For instance, the DRC is estimated to have seen one of the lowest utilization rates as manufacturers struggle to produce cement volumes to supply the increase in demand, resulting in cement plant shutdowns and also production cost issues. On the other hand, on a positive note, we have Algeria, which the cement market is expected to continue to have one of the highest utilization rates, mostly driven by not only the domestic demand, but also exports. In terms of production, all countries are expected to see an increase in 2021, with the exception of Algeria. Now, when we see the cement demand outlook for the next 5 years, all the markets are expected to witness a growth on the back of mega infrastructure projects announced that are set to happen in the forecast period. For example, the DRC is expected to witness the highest growth, supported by investments of more than 20 billion in infrastructure. This is, of course, is a result of an increasing demand, which leads the manufacturers being encouraged by the government to increase their production, right, in order to reduce cement imports to the country. We also have other examples like Ethiopia, that even though has an excess in cement capacity, has not been able to supply the increase in demand due to production issues that happened in 2020. Those production issues led the country to have an expected surge in imports. For example, the government has required a license to import around 3 million tons of cement during 2020. However, we estimate that this surge won't happen again, and this will be this will go back to normal in 2021. Now, when we talk about net trade, we have to take into consideration imports and exports of cement, and in this we do cement excluding clinker. We estimate that almost all markets are likely to see increasing exports. For instance, Algeria, who was a net importer since the lifting of the ban on exports in 2017, have seen an increase in exports, mostly to Nigeria and Ghana. Due to the lack of limestone, Uganda is a net clinker importer. Therefore, the country is expected to export more than 500,000 tons of cement in 2026. Now, moving on to the price analysis. When we talk about cement export prices, we see that Tanzania and Uganda are estimated to have the biggest year-on-year increase in 2021. Although cement prices in Uganda are expected to have increased due to the growth in the construction industry, the entry of the Kampala cement and Simba cement in 2015 and 2018 have increased competition among manufacturers, which drove down domestic prices during this period. Uganda's export prices are the highest among the selected countries, and this is mostly due to an increase in production costs led by clinker imports. Also, we see that the DRC has the second highest export prices, and their prices suffer with a wide national variation, as cement distribution is heavily expensive due to poor transportation model. Algeria, on the other hand, is the country with the lowest export prices, with prices seeing a downward trend since 2017, mostly because of a significant production. Now, I would like to leave you with the closing remarks of our presentation. Please note that we focus on the highlights, and more detailed information you can find available in our reports. And please don't hesitate to contact us in case you need help. We see that infrastructure investments are expected to boost the construction sector in the region, which therefore is going to increase demand in the next 5 years. Also, all of the markets are expected to have additional capacities coming online. Algeria and Tanzania are likely to have the biggest additions, with between 4 to 6 million tons to be added. In the next 5 years, also cement demand is expected to see a rise in all of the countries, with DRC seeing the biggest increase during the period. Ex-work prices are expected to witness a slight decline from 2016 to 2021, with the exception of DRC. However, when we compare 2021 prices with the previous year, there is an increase in almost all markets, excluding Tanzania, which is expected to have a decline of more than 10%. And this is due to a more competitive scenario that occurred with the entering of a new cement player. Now, I would like to thank you for your time and attention, and I'll see you now at our next webinar.